All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Planet Comicon here at the Project Nerd booth. We are hanging out. Got some new faces in the booth.
Wait, I thought I was going to open it.
Too late. I already did it.
Hey,
I took
everybody.
the initiative. Hey, everybody, indeed. Drew, how you doing, my man?
I'm all right. Got a little stuffy nose.
Bob, how you doing?
I'm tired. I've been walking my
You've been
butt
all over the floor
place.
today.
Yeah.
You think? See anything amazing?
Tons of people, tons of artists, tons of some really good costumes.
Nice. Dr. Lora, how you doing this fine afternoon?
What up? I'm having an incredible time. Incredible time.
What's the coolest thing you've seen this weekend?
Coolest thing I've seen like 10 Daenerys cosplays that were all phenomenal. One of them where she's like in her ass kicking outfit, the one that's all black and kind of like metal and stuff. She looked incredible.
I dig it. It's funny you said Daenerys. I just got a text from a friend of mine who I think may have watched the first season. I'm not sure. He just recently had surgery, so has been at home, laid up, and he just texted me. He's like, hey, I just started watching Game of Thrones. I'm going to try to catch up before the new season starts.
Godspeed.
To be fair, he doesn't have anything else to do, but that's a lot of Game of Thrones
That's a
to
challenge.
watch.
So
That's a challenge.
there was a schedule in January where you could watch basically an episode a day for it was like the 3 months up till Game of Thrones. However, we're people of binge watching culture now, so you just extrapolate that down to like 3 or 4 episodes a night. From this point on, you might be able to make it work.
Oh, well, what day does the new season air?
The 14th, is it?
That
Of
sounds
April?
right. April
Of
14th.
April.
Yeah.
14th is a Sunday, so
Then it works.
Yeah.
if it's 14th, then yeah, you have basically 2 weeks from tomorrow to watch 7 seasons. And, I mean, how many total episodes of Game of Thrones is there?
I was going to say 6 in the first season, 12 in the subsequent seasons, I'm pretty sure.
Let us find out with the help of the internet. I know that you and Adam were trying to catch up, Laura. How your efforts fell apart?
Yeah, they did. Well, because we both started rereading the books as well. How many episodes are there?
67.
Oh, good. Well, here's the problem, is we started
67 divided by
rewatching
14.
and rereading
Do
the
that
books
math.
simultaneously, which is just too much Martin.
That's a lot.
It's just too goddamn much Martin. And so we were just really depressed. Like, it's just really depressing when you're
It
completely
doesn't have to be
surrounded
a
by
whole
George R. R. Martin.
number.
So 4.76. You would
Thank
have to
you.
watch, on average, 5 episodes a day if you started today.
That's what
Too
I was
much.
looking for, Dale.
Right now.
Thank you. Thank you, Tyler.
Yeah, no problem. That's what I'm here for.
That's a big
Math
commitment.
is your friend.
Algebra. Ugh.
Dig it. So, I don't know that I could watch 5 episodes
I mean,
a day.
here's the
Here's the
thing.
thing. I can
I don't think I
100%
could.
watch 5 episodes a day. I don't think I could watch 5 episodes a day more than 1 or 2 days in a row.
Yep.
Well, see, here's the thing. You do 3 a night and then do 1 full day on a weekend, and you make up for the other.
That's a lot of Game of Thrones.
I haven't
though.
even
But if
finished
you're-
watching The Umbrella Academy. How do you expect me to watch
Oh my
more
God,
Game
really?
of Thrones?
Oh,
I'm
man.
like 3 or 4 episodes in.
Oh, my God.
That was so
Now-
good.
I couldn't stop it.
Yeah.
It was
Now, to
so
be fair,
good.
my friend has the advantage of he's literally doing nothing but sitting at home playing video games in a knee brace. So, I mean, conceivably, he has the time to do it. I'm not even talking about time. If I had the
I have a
next 14
question.
days off work, I still don't know if I could muscle my way through 67 episodes.
It's
Does-
just the emotional energy.
Does
I
your
just
friend
can't.
vape?
No.
Oh, he doesn't. He's not sitting at home ripping some thick cotton.
No, he's at home playing a lot of video games.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Just wondering. The stereotype I'm trying to make happen.
No, he's just sitting at home on the couch.
Okay.
Must be nice.
Must be nice.
So, aside from the Game of Thrones, obviously, we just spoke about Umbrella Academy. Bob, you're not done with it. Has everybody else finished it?
I
Has
think
anybody
everybody
started
else
it?
is done with
have
it.
you seen it, Laura?
Yes.
Drew?
Yeah, Tasha and I binged it. Umbrella Academy, like 2 days. Done.
So good. Yet another one of those things that it was so popular, I really did not want to like it. I'm turning into such a hipster.
You are such a hipster.
Well, see, here's the
Jesus,
thing.
I
You're
hate
not,
that about myself.
See, you're not a hipster if you were like, oh, I read the... You're not a hipster now until you were like, oh, I read the graphic novels when Gerard Way put
Nope.
them out.
Didn't do that.
So
But
you're
I
not a
teach
hipster.
college students, and when they want me to watch something or they think something is cool, I'm automatically like, no, I don't want to
I'm
do
too old
that.
for that.
Yeah. Yes. But sometimes, and I'll say it now, they make recommendations about shit that's legitimately good.
Well, see, but
You guys, 18-year-olds know about some cool shit.
But that's just the stuff that's happening now. Like that just makes you up to date with current culture.
True.
Where at this point, where if they were like, yeah, but the graphic novels were really a lot better, like then that's
Gross.
a hipster thing
Gross.
that comes out. Exactly.
I don't know. I feel like being predisposed to something immediately due to its popularity is pretty hipstery.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess my definition's like, I don't know what's the true definition of being a hipster.
I mean, I don't know that there is a true definition of it.
And the fact that there's no definition of what's hipster is the most hipster thing about being hipster.
It's true.
It's like you can't really define it. You can't put me into a box like that.
You have any
can't.
hipsters it takes to
I
turn in a light
don't
bulb?
like
How many?
labels. We don't use
You've
electricity.
never heard of it?
It's a pretty obscure number. You
You've
probably
never heard of it?
of.
Oh, man.
It's a special
Oh,
artisan
man.
number that you can only get in certain places.
I love it. It's artisanal. I love that.
Speaking of, you'll enjoy this, Laura. There was a recent, and I'm going to blank on the school that actually did the study.
That's definitely a hipster thing of you to say. I'm not sure where I heard the statistic, but here it is factually.
There was. Now it's bugged me, and I'm going to need to think of this. Anyway, there was a recent research paper done
Yeah.
on basically counterculture groups, specifically groups that form their identity against rebelling against whatever is popular or whatever is mainstream. So things like punks and hippies and specifically hipsters they looked at, and how those groups end up moving into a phase shift of conformity within their own group. To simplify, basically, how these groups are specifically aimed at fighting against everyone liking the same things and popularity and culture as a whole, and fighting against that, and eventually end up becoming
Non-conformist
Exactly
rule.
that.
become conformist in their own bubble. Like they become
Right,
their
a
own,
reflection of what they were rebelling
become their
against.
own homogenous thing. So this paper was very interesting.
Love that.
It was very it was peer reviewed. It was very good, and it got sent to many publications and get published in MIT's monthly journal of scholarly research.
Right?
And when MIT published the article, they needed to look for a stock photo to put into it, and they chose a Getty image of a prototypical, what you would think of as a hipster.
I know where you're going with this.
It was a gentleman in a slouchy beanie with a beard and a plaid shirt on, walking
it.
down the street.
Love it.
What you think of when you say? I mean, the only thing
When
if he had been
you
on a
say
big
the word
wheel,
hipster,
maybe.
it's exactly what pops into my head.
100%. So after MIT publishes this paper in their journal, they get an angry letter from someone who was the model in the Getty image photo, demanding that it be taken down because he had in his contract for the photo shoot that they couldn't his image couldn't be used in anything that would be termed defamatory, or
Sure,
he didn't want his
sure.
picture being used in herpes commercials or
Right, so it was a fraudulent use of his image because he
he
thought
had a contract
it was
with Getty Images
defamatory,
saying that
yeah.
that you won't use this for this. MIT looks and we're like, well, we don't see how being labeled a hipster is defamatory. Have you looked at yourself? But they had to cross all their T's and dot all their I's. So they
Right.
reach out to Getty Images to make sure they're okay.
Oh, no.
Legally speaking.
Like, was it a different guy?
Totally different guy.
Different guy. He got him
Because
he got
all
mixed
hipsters
up.
look alike.
Exactly.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's the most beautiful. It was one of the most beautiful articles I'd ever read in my entire life.
It's
Take down that picture of me. I'm such an individual. Uh-oh.
As it turns out,
That's
Well,
not
so
me.
he wasn't even, from the article I read, he wasn't even a model. He wasn't he was just you can't use that.
I
They
mean,
were
not necessarily. He was just someone whose picture was taken.
Yeah.
He has used a stock photo, but
Right.
to sign away the rights to it, the waiver stated,
Yeah.
hey, this won't be used for blank, blank, and blank.
Right.
And then when he saw the photo, complained, Getty's like, yeah, that's a totally different guy.
It's just some other white guy in a beanie. They're all the same.
It's a different white bearded man in a plaid shirt and a slouchy beanie.
Oh, it's fascinating. Well, we all want to fit in, right? Fitting in is the difference between life and death, really.
We
for
want
our
to fit
species.
in, but
we gotta fit in.
We can't sell out. You got to fit in without selling out. I gotta be me. I gotta be a me that everyone else likes, so I gotta like all the same things and do all the same things and dress the same way.
Right.
But I'm still an individual.
So what's the difference between... So, is hipster still the counterculture of the 21st century? Like, is that still... Or is that even dated? To say that hipsters are the current counterculture, is that dated
I don't know.
now?
I feel like I don't know. I don't know, like, what... The problem with hipsterism, and it's true of every single one of these counterculture groups, is, like, you end up using one term to describe a large swath of people who got where they are for very different reasons. There are people who look like hipsters because that was stylish. There's people who look like hipsters because they were all about going back to like an artisanal, locally sourced whatever.
Yep.
Or there's people who are hipsters because, I was into it before it was cool. I feel like it's become a catch-all. It's the same thing where you use the term goth for kids who use pale makeup and black clothing, but there was a lot of different shadings in that range.
Yeah.
Or emo or hippie.
Ooh, let's kick it back to high school when we first started like rocking a particular niche. Where did you guys belong with the high school cliques?
I feel like I fit in. I was like, don't call me a nerd, because I am a nerd. But I felt like I fit in with a lot of people because I was a theater kid no matter what, but I had been a football kid in middle school, so I knew all the football kids. And then I didn't do football in high school, so I was still friends with those people, but I didn't do that stuff. So it was just like, I didn't have like I wore jeans, chucks, and a long sleeve t-shirt under a short sleeve t-shirt. I was like, that was just my look. I don't know if that's a hipster look or what it was, but I wore that like every day. Different colored t-shirt. It was like I was a character in The Big Bang Theory. It was the same outfit every day, just a different shirt.
Yeah.
And I was like that was it. That's all I did. That's where I fell.
Yeah. I was kind of like Drew. I was the sports kid, football. I was the theater and music kid. I was the debate kid.
Nice.
So I kind of ran the gamut.
Yeah.
Of cultures, but and when you're in a high school of about 100 kids in your class, I think pretty much everyone was a little bit of everything at that time.
Don't put me into a box.
Yeah, I definitely went to a very small high school. So, like, my graduating class was, like, 28 kids. So everyone was... There were definitely cliques, but you could move easily. I was on the football team and the basketball team and the track team. But I was also in band and choir.
Oh, my God.
I was also on the forensics team and the quiz bowl team. And I was in the French club. Like, you kind of
And those are, like, in a Venn diagram, those are all, like, separate
Yeah, but in a small
bubbles.
school, it's not uncommon to do...
all of it.
Well, I don't know if you did. Not necessarily everyone did all of them, but there were plenty of people on the football team who were in band. And there was plenty of people in the musical who were also...
Which seems counterintuitive because how can you sit in the stands and in the bandstands and also be on the field?
Well, there's other things for the band to do than play at sporting events, Drew. I feel like that's a very reductivist view of the music that being put out by
Wait a minute.
band.
Can I guess your instrument?
Yeah, go for it.
Ooh. Don't tell us. Just tell us if she's wrong. I want to guess too.
I want to
Trumpet.
guess too.
I was a trombonist.
You were a tromboner.
I was a boner. I really wanted to be a drummer, but my
you'd be
mother would not let me. She said I needed to pick a real instrument, so I picked the trombone. And then when my
instrument.
brother was old enough, he got to pick the drums and stayed in band for like 2 years.
I see
I
you
was
as
in
a
band for 8 goddamn years, and I was so mad that I had to...
I see you as a tuba guy.
No, not a tuba. I was definitely a trombone. But like
Okay.
I said, I never played in marching band.
Right.
Because I was on the football team.
Did
So-
anybody else do any band stuff? I like that select your instrument thing.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like a personality test. I was in band. I was first chair.
What did you
Ooh,
play?
wait,
I'm going to
hold
go with...
Piccolo.
I feel like you're a reed
Clarinet.
instrument kind of person, so I'm going to go clarinet, yeah.
Flute.
Flute. It was either going to go flute or
close.
clarinet. You're in one of the first 2 rows.
Yep, it's what every girl did in high school. She played the flute.
If you were first chair, does that mean you got to play the piccolo sometimes?
Yeah, played the piccolo
The
sometimes.
school piccolo?
Allison Hannigan.
For that higher register. I was also the captain of the cheerleading team.
You were the captain of the cheerleading team?
Yes, I was.
I could see that.
For my
you are
senior
quite
year.
bubbly.
Yes, I am. Some people say that's
And
obnoxious.
effervescent.
But yes. I did that. I never really identified with those people, though. I was definitely like a 90s, like a grunge kid, you know?
and
Like flannel, like Nirvana.
Yeah, if you're going to talk about our looks, like I definitely look like I was an extra who walked off the set of Singles. Like I was rocking,
Same.
you know, earth tone flannel shirt that's one size too big over earth tone t-shirt over baggy Lucky jeans and big Claude Stoppin' Doc Martens. Hair that's a
Yes.
little too long. Probably some sort of sterling silver necklace, probably a yin yang or something dope like that.
Oh my God, yin
like-
yangs.
My
Damn.
look was this, but with just a different colored T-shirt on top of this. The only reason I wasn't is because I have this pair of glasses on my deal. So, but yeah,
Were you in band?
I see Tyler. I
in
see him
sixth
in
grade.
puka-
I did an
puka shell
instrument.
necklace.
Yeah.
All right,
I've
let's guess Drew's
never
instrument.
owned a puka sail necklace, thank you.
I did.
Ah,
What was Drew's instrument? Only 6th grade, though.
Sixth grade. I was in sixth grade band, and then I played in show choir for half a semester because somebody broke his wrist. So I'll take 2 instruments,
you played 2 instruments.
2 different times, 2 instruments.
But yeah, I was a theater kid, and like forensics is
Just
basically theater.
went right
too,
over
so-
that.
Recorder.
Recorder, yeah. I remember, what was that, 4th grade, 5th grade that we did recorder? I think that was 4th grade you did recorder, and then 5th grade you had to pick an instrument.
Love it.
And then
Love
5th
the
grade
recorder.
band, 6th grade band,
So
junior high band, high school band.
I did clarinet for 1 full year because they only had 1 saxophone, and somebody already was the saxophoner.
So you got stuck with
So I got
clarinet.
stuck with a clarinet.
Which is like the lesser sexy reed instrument.
Couldn't you
That
get
is-
like
the
an oboe or
sexiest
something?
reed instrument is
It is definitely not
definitely the saxophone.
at a 6th grade like toxic masculinity level. A clarinet was definitely not the most masculine thing for a guy sitting next to 3 girls to
Nope.
play. And
No.
I was terrible at it.
Oh, terrible at it.
Just breaking down boundaries,
What?
paving opportunities
You play
for
clarinet
boys
too?
to play clarinet.
And then I played bass for a semester in high school for jazz band because somebody broke his wrist and couldn't play his bass guitar. So I learned the parts, and that was a cool thing I did in 1 semester of high school.
Yeah. I played bass guitar in a band in high school for like a hot second, like a band in some guy's garage kind of band.
Oh my God.
That's,
Oh my God.
That's how I learned to play the bass for show choir. But I can't. The name was something he came up with, and I was like, "Meh, okay." That's
Name of the
fine."
band?
Yeah, it's
Let's
real
hear
bad.
it. Let's hear it. Let's
It's
hear
real
it. Let's
bad.
hear it.
It's laughing at obesity.
Wow,
It was
that's
so terrible.
real rough.
No.
It was literally the worst thing ever.
Oh no.
I
Like,
know.
that'll get you banned from Reddit, and it
Oh
must
my
be real
God.
bad if Reddit will ban it.
Oh, that's so bad.
It was. I was like, all right, I guess I'll play. Like he was like, hey, you want to play in this band? And I was like, I guess. And he was like, okay, cool. And then I got there, and he had this like Sharpie sign that said that, and I was like, all right, whatever.
Oh my God.
My best friend and I had a band in junior high where we wrote a bunch of songs and had a band name, but never actually recorded anything or played any instruments or did anything. We just sat around
Amazing.
and wrote songs in a notebook.
We're in a band.
Like
We're-
all the good bands.
We just wanted to be. We really wanted to be Bush. Like we loved Bush. That was our favorite thing in the world.
God, who didn't?
Like Razor Blade Suitcase, 16 Stone, even Deconstructed, didn't matter. Gavin
So
Rossdale was
good.
our hero. And her and I just sat around and wrote lyrics in notebooks in math class rather than pay attention.
what was the name of your band?
Mean, it is
you named it.
It is the cringiest
I don't
name
know.
that you can think of. Like,
Oh, please.
Think.
Yes, please.
I think I
7th
just-
and 8th grade. Real. Think they're really grungy in a small Midwestern town who's like 2 years behind whatever's in pop
Trash
culture.
can lid.
And think they're real edgy. What's that?
Trash can
Trash
lid's
can
a good
lid.
guess.
No, we had some alliteration. We were maniacal mayhem.
oh my God.
And we had such hits as Fatal Barbecue and Semi-Automatic Psycho was one of
oh
our...
my God. I can
Which was
feel your
was
feelings.
a real fucked up song about school shootings.
You
Which
were
was real
really
fun.
fucked
Oh
up back
my
then. in
God.
high school.
My brother's friends started a band when they were in like middle school, and theirs was called Blood Bath and Beyond instead of Bed Bath and Beyond.
That one's ironically fantastic. Like
that's what I said.
I'm gonna save that one for later.
They had like 16 like 2-minute songs, and it was just them all like screaming.
Are they looking for new members of their band? Because I'm interested.
I think they have left the bathtub at this point.
That's a
so-
shame.
They
That
were-
is
they-
a goddamn
it sounds like
shame.
they were the real life Crash and the Boys.
Basically.
This
2
song
minutes
is
of
called
screaming.
"I'm Sad," so very very sad.
It's not a race.
It sounds like a song Batman in the Lego Movie would write.
Love that.
All right, so we talked about high school. Who did college? Did anybody do college? Some crazy college stuff?
I did college. Bob, yes.
I did college.
Laura did some, and then some more,
Yeah,
and then
there's
some
a little
fucking
bit.
more.
I just did all the college.
Laura
I
did
just
college
did
for
it
the better
all.
part
I did a
decade
little
and
bit
a
of
half.
college, but my college,
God.
a lot of my college stuff was just being at college without being at college.
I think
that's
that's the way you're
that's the-
supposed to do college.
That's the important part of college, the
what's that
matriculation. We don't
movie-
really care if you learn
What's that
anything.
movie where he just goes and sits in classes?
Van Wilder.
Is that Van Wilder? No.
No?
I mean, that's certainly part of the narrative of Van
Yeah.
Wilder is that you just like exist at college, but you don't like go to school.
I mean, Tommy Boy. Lots of people go to school for 10 years. Yeah, they're called
Happy
doctors.
Gilmore?
But
yeah,
so
college for 10 years for me. I was in college for 10 years.
that's a lot of college. Josh has been in college for 10 years.
Look at that face.
Dale went to college. Yeah, where's your doctorate?
Everyone knows it's Herbie Hancock.
Herbie Hancock. So,
Oh, man,
college.
college.
Okay, so did you guys do any crazy, awesome things in college? Or did you guys just jump right into Project Nerd stuff?
Project Nerd was after college for me. Did I do anything cool? I drank a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Probably too much.
Mm-hmm.
Went to some classes. Didn't go to some other ones. Built a couple airplanes.
Built airplanes?
I was on an aero design team for SAE,
Ooh.
Society of Automotive Engineers. That every year for competition, we would build remote control airplanes from scratch and fly them. It's really
Just
cool.
a
That's
regular.
cool.
What's that, right, brother? Which one is it?
Orville and or Wilbur.
There you go, Wilbur. I was
Wilbur.
looking for the Wilbur one.
I mean, they were significantly more complex than the machines that
I don't know. They had a lot of designs. They
Yeah.
were pretty complex.
I mean, we had computers and
Ah,
MATLAB and wind tunnels and
so they did most of the work for you.
carbon
then.
fiber.
They did most of the work for you. Made shapes. Let's see, what did I do in college? I drank probably too much. I went to class. I did science. We did some pretty cool science. We found that people with anxiety disorders pay more attention to angry faces in their environment than they do happy faces. So that was pretty cool. We also found that people prefer the natural body odor of other individuals that are genetically dissimilar to themselves.
That's
So,
fascinating.
wow.
Which is
Tell me
really
more about
interesting.
that.
It's super interesting.
So
Yeah.
basically, if the stink of you is different than the stink of me, I'd prefer the stink of you than
Yes.
somebody else with the
I guess-
stink of me.
Yeah.
I guess define genetically dissimilar.
So specifically, we were looking at
I was doing this.
MHC compatibility. So MHC, it's a collection of alleles that codes
Yeah, 'cause
for resistance to disease. So essentially, someone who has different immunities than you do will produce pheromones through their natural funk that you find more appealing. So we sent people home with t-shirts, told them not to shower, not to wear deodorant, that kind of stuff, get your like natural juices on it, brought those t-shirts into the lab and had people smell them.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And so people preferred the stink of people that were genetically dissimilar to themselves, unless it was women on hormonal birth control. And then they preferred the stink of people that were genetically similar to
Was
themselves.
that one of those things where you
So
paid
that I've
the-
actually heard before, that being on birth control can cause you to totally change what you're attracted to.
smell profile.
hormonally.
Yeah,
Like,
if you're on hormonal birth control, you may be more
subconsciously.
attracted to people that are actually more genetically similar to yourself.
Huh.
Is there any studies that have been done? I mean, you may not know this. I'm sure there has, but any studies that have been done where people who who start relationships on birth control and then when they come off birth control, it causes any sort of compatibility issues?
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, but it's
Time to go
certainly a
back to school.
cautionary tale. Gotta go. No more school. No more school.
You start dating in college, you're on birth control, you get married, you start a life, you get jobs, then you decide, let's have kids. Stop taking birth control. I'm like, wow,
I hate you.
I'm not that into you
everything
anymore.
about you I hate now. Subconsciously, and I don't know why.
Including your stink, and I just can't handle it.
Yeah, it's a cautionary tale. If you're meeting your mate while you're on hormonal birth control, maybe think twice. And if you're trying to attract a mate, let your natural funk fly. Right? There's a reason why we still have hair in our armpits, and it's to hold on to stink.
Wow.
So do we think that's like an evolutionarily developed trait to try and
It certainly makes sense.
propagate immunities?
Well, if people
don't
are
think that
attracted
bad.
to people that are genetically dissimilar to themselves, they'll make babies that have more diverse immunities, right? And if hormonal birth control mimics the experience of pregnancy, it would make sense that you should be attracted to people that you're more genetically similar to. Surround yourself with family,
We're
right?
so all over here making super immune babies.
Yeah, just making super fit babies. So that's what I was doing
That's
in
really good. I
college.
mean,
A little
is-
bit of science, a little bit of drinking, lots of degrees. Yeah.
It speaks to I think the world today, but I was thinking about your study. I'm like, God, that is so fascinating. And then my head immediately went to, God, I hope no one finds a way to twist that and be like, look, we don't need vaccines. We naturally
Oh God.
create immunities by.
Our
I hate to bring everyone
profiles.
down, but that's immediately where I went with it.
Vaccinate. Please vaccinate your children. Please vaccinate them. And
Hey,
if you're
you. Hey, you
vaccinated,
with the
get
baby.
another vaccination. Just
Hey, you with the
vaccinate.
baby. Is that vaccinated?
Vaccinate
Dang right
them.
it is.
Just get
Dang
some more
right it is.
vaccinations.
Because you like it when kids live.
I love it when my kid lives. All
Love it. Love it.
right, Bob. What about you? Did you do college?
I was college, my freshman year. I lived off campus for the first semester. And then the second semester, I was in the dorms. And I tell you, when you go to college, you got to live in the dorms. I think my GPA was 1 that semester.
Oh, wow.
That it was bad.
Well,
But then I decided to grow up, and
live on campus and
well,
have some
that's when
TA tell you can't drink booze after noon.
that's when I went to college in California. Did all my stuff out there. Sure, yeah, it's nice and sunny and the beaches are great, but I just wanted to get done with school and get out of there.
Yeah.
But
It's the way to do it.
I like that you said decided to grow up. I don't think I've gotten there yet. I don't
No.
think I've made that decision.
I know.
Mm-mm. I think I'm running away from it actually on purpose.
You're
I
just
can
running
feel it
away,
creeping up
period.
behind me. I'm just running away in
Run
general.
away.
But I'm really afraid of growing up. I don't want to. I don't want to.
Every time Laura's looks like she might be moving into adulthood, she's like,
no,
gets a new job and moves away.
I know.
Exactly. Oh, I'm just going to sell everything and leave. Yeah. What's the fun in that? I don't want to grow up.
Well, that means you can go buy
I'm a
new
Toys R Us
stuff.
kid.
I just want to be a Toys R Us kid.
And I feel like maybe even to a pathological level, I don't want to grow up because, anything that would put roots anywhere, right? Like buying a house, getting a mortgage, things that I perceive as being grown up things. I'm terrified of them. I want no part of it.
Yeah, now you're millennial showing again.
Oh,
Yeah.
let me put that away.
I don't want to put down roots.
Can't
I don't
hold
wanna
me
be-
down.
I
I'm
don't
a
wanna
wild horse.
I don't want to be tied to any one thing or place or city or anything.
I'll tie myself to that boy, but that's about it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, and he's going where you're going, so.
Yeah, I'm just bringing him where I go.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Like
is anybody
luggage.
else? Can you guys relate to that feeling? Right?
Oh,
This,
100%.
like pathological
Well,
fear of
it's-
adulthood.
It's one of those things when you're you're a grade schooler or, and you see high schoolers and, man, they're cool. They got this stuff figured out. Then you're a high schooler and you're like, oh, this is a fucking shit show. But college kids are real cool and into they know all the cool music
Yep.
and get to go drink and stuff. And then you're a college kid and you're like, I have no idea what's going on.
See,
but adults like your parents, like they had real jobs and had kids and bought a house and did a thing.
Yep.
Like they have it together. And then you hit like 35, you're like, oh no, literally everyone from birth to now is just fucking winging it and hoping it for the best.
yeah.
We're all just faking it.
Well, my biggest thing is like I don't want to have something that like ties me down, but I want to have something that's mine. So it's like this like push pull that's like I want to have something that I can make, create, build that's mine. But like I don't want to have that stuck in that one spot for any number of reasons. So that's why I like almost really, really strongly latched onto the tiny house movement, which is like I could build a tiny house or build a whatever, and then I can take that wherever I go. So it's like it gives me the best of those both, or the best of both of those feelings. So I was like, but also we have a family, so it's like you can't have a family in a tiny house.
I mean, you probably could, but man, is it going to be crowded and intimate?
Well, I watched when I did think about it. I watched a lot of those videos, like those documentaries, tiny houses, and like there's people with like 3 or 4 kids living in
a storage container,
500 square foot trailer with 3 levels and sleeping in different arrangements.
It's really a romantic kind of story, right? Like all those documentaries really romanticize that idea, right? Of making something with your hands, which I mean, my God, does anybody know how to make shit anymore?
People who've built a whole house in the back of their pickup truck and then just, travel the world and go. Or like Alex Honnold, the free solar, the climber who had the documentary, basically just lives out of his van, and it's like the idea of that is
romantic.
super romantic. I immediately see those. I'm like, God, it would be so cool to like live in a sweet VW van that I've like super decked out and go to national parks and then I immediately go to like, how the fuck do you afford that? Like Alex Honnold honestly has like sponsorships and is a world-class athlete, but like all the other people, it's like...
But like mere mortals?
Yeah, like
that's
how do you
cards.
afford that? Like, did you go do something else and save all your money and then do it? Or like, how do you support yourself?
I follow this guy.
How do you put gas in your house?
I follow this guy who basically did the same thing, but out of a Jeep. And he took the whole second seat out of his Jeep, all the other seats, just the driver's seat, threw a cot in there, and basically just hoofed it for like 3 months and lived at his parents' house. Did all this, and he's gradually gotten better, and now he gets money from YouTube and all that stuff. Like, they monetize those videos, but like that kind of like free living thing is like both terrifying and appealing all at the same time. But like you said,
absolutely,
you want to like you build your own house, you get to do that, you get to have nothing set in stone. But additionally, like my problem is we do stuff like this where it almost makes sense with the amount of money we spend on places to stay or places to go, but then also I'm here and I buy shit like left and right.
Exactly.
And downsizing is the biggest thing that I could never do.
Yeah, I like my stuff.
It's because I like my stuff.
I like my stuff. I like my bed. I like hot showers and indoor plumbing. But at the same time, like the idea is super appealing.
It's very romantic.
Right up until it's not.
Yeah. Well, so what's different between us and our parents' generation, right? Because I feel like the part of me that rejects being a grown-up is really just rejecting what my parents did, which their definition of success is acquiring things and debt, frankly, buying stuff that exceeds your means and acquiring debt. And I'm rejecting that, right? What's causing... Do you guys feel that, or am I projecting that maybe this is something that I feel I think other people feel?
I definitely think you have this. I'm rejecting. My parents didn't do any of that. Like my dad is like, I have the same truck since 1997. I don't need stuff. I like that. He collects, but only because at this point he didn't raise me to collect. He raised me to be minimalist, and I reject. Like it's the same thing. I rejected that because that adulthood thing was like, oh, I don't need stuff, and I was like, fuck that, I need everything, like.
Fuck that, I love stuff.
So, and then he kind of picked that up later on in life, like but he only did it with one thing as opposed to like I do it with just like everything. But I definitely think that the rejection of your parents' generation, like whatever you saw, is a way to, I guess, rebel against like growing up.
Yeah, what you see them wanting, you then define yourself by not wanting that thing,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
You feel that?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like things that I did or didn't do to like rebel against. I definitely like.
Well, are they similar to what your parents did?
I don't know that I mean, I definitely went through periods of like, you know, my parents are wrong and stuff like that. But I think, I don't know. I don't know that I so much rebelled against my parents or rebelled against my childhood. I definitely rebelled real hard even before I left for college, like against the social mores of like where I grew up.
Yeah.
Like I grew up
I
deep
feel
in
that.
like the Southwest, like in the Bible Belt, like very conservative, very small. And I definitely pulled a 180 on that the minute I had the ability to, and never turned back. So, but then that's also like, but at the same time, I like think back and you see there is something to say. There is a reason that, I mean, there's, I don't know, I don't want to get like weird with it, but there's definitely a reason that like adherence to conservative viewpoints, and I don't mean this like in a weird political like Republican Democratic, but just in terms of like the strict definition of like conservative and liberal viewpoints. As age increase, conservativeness increases. As education increases, liberalism increases.
Right.
Like, because I definitely would like think back to being younger and thinking about things my parents did or said when they were younger, and then like thinking back to the things they say now, 20 years later, and realizing, wow, that you've definitely gotten way more conservative. And I'm like, oh no, because you're older now, and like old people are conservative. Like you're a liberal right up until you're a liberal when you're young and poor, and you're conservative when you're old and rich. Like that's
Exactly.
just that's how it works.
Exactly.
But these days
And that's
you're
so frustrating, right? Because people call young people idealistic, right? I feel like people think that I'm idealistic and that I'll just grow out of it, right? You'll grow into being a conservative once you give up on this idealistic view of
but
the
you
world.
know, these days at least I'm seeing just that shift of younger people becoming more conservative. I don't know. It's just,
I think that's almost a rebellion right there against.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
got to be different. All my friends are a bunch of pinko hippies, so I'm gonna join the NRA and the Young Republicans.
There you go.
Ew.
Well, see, like I have people in like my age group that are more conservative than I would have seen them to be in high school and stuff. And then like the people, like my brother came out of high school a couple of years ago, so he teaches like dance and singing classes to younger people than him even. So these kids are still in high school and they're like women's rights, and they're like super just like vocal about literally anything that they can be vocal about. So I feel like they're not, it's not even more conservative, it's just more, you're hearing more vocality between like the younger generation at this point. Like,
yeah.
And I think there's a couple different forks there too, because like you definitely see those people who get into college and go veer hard left, but then there's also that very specific vein of rebellion in like that college age kids between 18 and 25. I see it. I used to see it all the time in academia, where they veer hard into like, and I think it's a function of like America's culture of exceptionalism, but veer hard into libertarianism, or like I can't tell you how many people I knew my age who were intelligent, well-educated graduate student academians who went hard into like Ayn Rand and Ron Paul and like that like vein of like, and part of that is like, and that's true of a lot of ideologues in that age, is like, especially if you live in the insular world of academia, where it's like you've never really you know a lot and you've learned a lot and you have a huge array of skills, but you've never actually lived out in the real world. And we're like, libertarianism is one of those things that like everyone I think dabbles with at a specific age, like 18, 25, when you're
everybody tries it.
Like you're an adult, but you're not in the real world. And then you're like, no, this would all work perfectly. Like, why don't you guys understand this? It just makes so much sense.
Dale's over here
then
pointing to himself.
And then you go out in the real world and you're like, oh, yeah, fuck, because people are terrible. Like, none of this would ever
People
work.
are terrible.
Yeah,
That's why this won't work.
We need social safety nets and driver's license. Those things are important.
Oh man, I love that. Everybody dabbles in libertarianism. Everybody tries it.
We all did it.
One time.
We all like read Atlas Shrugged once, or read a Ron Paul thing, or something. In you were between 18
Just
and 25,
like
and you're
experimenting sexually in
fuck it, like,
college,
let's-
everybody experiments with libertarianism, right? You try it, and then most of us grow out of it.
and then you
Most
add
of
more-
us.
No, you don't even grow out of libertarianism. I don't feel like. I feel like you go out into the real world, and you're like, oh yeah, that would never.
Oh, it's a
work.
beautiful idea, but my
It's
God,
same
I
thing
mean,
with,
like, as a psychologist, I know that people
or-
are like deep down quite terrible. So I mean, you just can't
Yeah.
leave people to
That's
their
the
own
same thing
devices
of,
and
like-
assume they're going to do what's best, right?
The same reason, like, that communism or like various versions of communism have always felt like the ideas of communism to me as someone far to the left is like yeah,
That could work.
Totally.
That could work.
collectivism. This is such a good idea, and then you're like, oh, but yeah, people have to do this.
You give
Yeah.
people power, and then they
That's-
get terrible,
that's-
and
this
then
is, none of this will ever work.
So I'm going to try and bring this full circle because we talked about Netflix right away. Did
Sorry,
anybody
what?
watch?
Oh, tyranny.
No.
I thought you said purity, and I got real worried there for a second.
Josh, you're not on this podcast. Go away.
Josh is starting a white power movement over in the corner. So,
God.
I understand that you said tyranny, but when you raised your fist up, it sounded like you said purity, and I got real worried.
we might have to set this entire podcast booth on fire.
So I'm going to.
Josh is over there talking about the white genocide.
Oh my God, I will.
I'm going to bring
explode.
this full circle because I want.
Josh, you can defend yourself.
Not at all.
I'm just making fun of
Yeah,
Josh.
you haven't heard him when he's not on recording. So we I'm gonna try and bring this full circle because we've been doing, what are we at, like 38 minutes now? So we were talking about Netflix. Did anybody watch Love, Death, and Robots?
No.
I've watched a couple of them. I haven't watched all of it.
No,
No, it's another hipster thing that's going around.
I'm gonna love it.
It's an anthology.
It's yeah.
I could be into that.
So there's 16 or 18 episodes, and they're all different. They're all just really
self-contained stories.
self-contained stories.
No continuity.
I'm gonna
That
spoil
sounds
one
good.
because
Spoiler alert.
it comes through kind of in the conversation. There's a sentient yogurt. This sentient yogurt comes through, and they create basically this whole, like, bring me to your leader. We know how to fix the economy if you follow this path to a T, and humans fuck it up. And so
That's what we do.
and so the sentient yogurt is basically like, all right, well, we're out, and they take off and leave you humans to like fend for themselves after they've screwed it up. And it's really like basically just like humans cannot be trusted, even with a like step-by-step plan to do it, because we are.
Yeah, because I don't really need to follow. Like, is there a step 2B where I get mine? That's all that really matters. I need to get mine.
Well, I mean, really, we're just we're so poorly equipped to put into practice any kind of social or political action that will take care of populations at the size they exist today. We're designed to live in a world where we only see and interact with like 150 people.
Yeah,
So we're just not equipped to deal with a world that is now global.
We are literally not equipped to do this because we come in contact with 150 people a weekend when we do this kind of crap. And then
Right,
they
there's
expect
a
us
total mismatch
Yeah.
between the environment that we're designed to exist in and this one.
Yeah, because what
We
is it?
can't
You can
deal.
only technically like remember like 150 relationships or something like that. Then your mind starts to delete previous relationships or previous like people from existence, basically.
Absolutely. So we can't put into practice any sort of social or political system that's going to take care of gigantic populations of people. We're always going to be just a little bit too selfish because we're better nomads. I mean, our ancestors spent over 99% of our history on a long ass camping trip. Right? We're much better equipped to camp
It's
than
also
we
why
are to
we're
do
really
this.
bad with long-term planning. Like anything
that-
past
yeah.
tomorrow is a bit of a crapshoot.
But it's also it harkens back then to tiny homes. Why don't we just get a covered wagon. And
Oh man, that brings it back full circle. We're pretty well equipped to be campers,
yeah.
right? Just get rid of all your shit, get a tiny home, go into the woods.
But I like my shit.
Get
like
rid
my
of
stuff.
it. It's holding you down, buddy.
What's
Yeah.
her name? What's her name? She's also on Netflix now. Who
I
wrote the
don't-
book of the art of
Oh, Marie Kondo.
Marie Kondo.
Marie Kondo.
Does it
Yeah.
spark joy? Does it not spark joy?
Exactly.
Wow.
I don't know. This Tootsie Roll's about to spark my belly up with some joy.
Yeah. So, we can go back full circle back here to the Planet Comicon.
We are at Planet Comicon.
Yes,
That's
we are.
true.
Does Planet Comicon
You
spark
thought
joy?
we thought we were at a
Throw the whole
college
con
lecture
out.
there for a few minutes. So, what have you seen, Drew, today that's kind of piqued your interest?
So I saw what he called a sci-fi rendition of Link. Kind of had like a Iron Man, Master Chief, like mechanism, like vibe to him. He had like plate armor, and he was carrying a blue lightsaber. So that was really cool. I like that a lot. I got a picture.
I was
I
going
got
to
a picture.
That's really cool.
I tell you, for me, the best costume I've seen so far has been that one Pennywise. It was absolutely dead. It's just like right on target. They had
amazing.
the bloody arm and everything. The makeup was perfect. He or she did the voice. Oh, that is cool.
That is interesting.
That is
Yeah,
neat.
it was really neat.
It was a very accurate, just a very accurate depiction.
The whole time everyone was talking, I was thinking, I'm trying to figure out something that I've seen that was really, really cool, and I've seen a lot of stuff that was really, really cool.
Did you eat any good food at the convention?
I will say that the new Space Camper IPA from Boulevard.
Oh,
their new,
so good.
Like sci-fi inspired Comic-Con. It's really fantastic.
I'm not an
Delicious.
IPA guy. Like I don't, and so I found out it was an IPA, and I was like, oh, because I got a sample for Tasha, and I was like, oh, it's an IPA. I don't know how I feel about it. It was like not as bad as like my IPA like mouth thought it would be. Like I don't like IPAs, but I was willing to drink it, so it's not terrible. I mean,
It's good.
I
As
definitely
somebody who
enjoy-
likes IPAs, hoppy, floral, tasty.
I just
Love
had
me a bitter beer.
a nice
That's a hipster thing of you to say.
gooey.
I know.
I
I
need
was
a
like,
grilled cheese
I liked
sandwich.
IPAs before they were cool.
They had a grilled cheese sandwich stand here. It was just hit the spot. Of course, every other
Cheese.
stand was like lines.
I did have a turkey leg. That was good.
How was that?
You ate a turkey
It
leg?
was
I
real
was-
good.
Shame on you.
Well, did you get a look at the chicken pot pies they had too?
They saw them. They were very small, and the turkey leg just spoke to me.
Yeah,
Say
that
that
turkey
12
leg.
bucks for a small
That's
chicken pot
calling
pie.
my
And
name
Listen,
tomorrow.
it's just like being at the state fair, baby.
Mm.
And
Were
I
there
just
any
need a funnel
fried
cake and
fried
the ride on
Twinkies anywhere?
the ride on the whirly go, and we'll be good to go.
The whirly-go? So what do we got to look forward to tomorrow? Anything?
I mean, we got more panels, we got more
Yeah.
interviews, we got more celebrities, we got more
I can tell
cosplay.
you,
Your
the
cosplay?
lines here have been absolutely bonkers.
The lines for literally everything, whether it be food or Brandon Sanderson or William Shatner or
Yeah.
Jessica
Well,
Negri. Like
I was gonna say,
the crowd here is huge.
Chris Sarandon's line is going up and down, up and down, up and down, and around the cosplay area or the guest celebrity area.
So and Carrie Ellis's was super long as
making
well.
some-
And he is
Oklahoma.
inside his little tent.
Yeah, I'm
He's in
just
his
going to
tent
get
now?
comfortable.
He is in his little tent again. He hides in a tent so nobody can see him.
They had to add floor lines for the path for Jessica Negri because she had 6 additional lines, like loops, back
Who's
and
this?
forth for Jessica Negri.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Oh, what about celebrities? Is there any celebrity that anybody here is like really geeking out to just get a peek at? Have an awkward interaction with?
I would like to meet the Fonz.
Oh, I saw him.
Love
Boy,
him.
he is definitely aged. I got to look at him. He's got long gray hair. I just can't see him from the past going, hey, just not.
Well, it's funny that you say that because my first introduction to him as an actor was actually with Waterboy.
You're kidding.
Yeah, so I don't think of him as this young guy. I think of him as the football coach in Waterboy, and so he looks exactly the way I remember him.
He's fantastic right now on Barry. Does anyone else watch Barry?
He just won an Emmy Award for that.
Yes.
So good.
So good. So good.
Who do I...
And he's amazing in his episodes of, obviously, Arrested Development. He's always fantastic.
Oh, he's hysterical.
Going over there, I don't know, maybe it's me, I don't know, but doesn't seem like there are as many big celebrities here as you would normally see. I mean, yes, William Shatner. You got the Phelps twins from Harry Potter, Chris Sarandon and Carrie Elwes.
Bonnie Wright.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
I mean, I think, and this is true, and I think as we get older, this is another one of those getting older things. There are a lot of really famous people at this Comic-Con. I think we're starting to reach the age though where the famous people at Comic-Con aren't famous for us. They're famous for other people.
Right, exactly.
Like there's a ton of voice actors here
there
from
is
like
a massive amount
from
of voice
like
actors.
My Hero Academy, which is huge. I've seen a ton of cosplay. That's a very large television show. I don't watch it. I mean, I've
never seen it.
I mean,
I've never even heard of it.
And we got a couple wrestlers, Rey Mysterio, who
Mick Foley is big for me. That's pretty famous.
Rey Mysterio. I talked to at Colorado Springs Comic Con. Really, really neat guy. But yeah, I mean,
I don't know Dean. I mean,
Dean
there's some that are really big for like younger me, like Dean Kang and Tom Welling. That's fantastic.
That's a big deal.
Yeah,
Michael Rosenbaum.
Say there's a lot of. I don't think there's like a current, like all these people are doing their own smaller things, but there's not like a Jason Momoa or
there's no Batista here
or anybody that's like somebody's got to see
new and current. There's not somebody like that.
I mean, everybody, like I said, there's everybody's doing something now. Like you said, Henry Winkler's doing Barry or whatever, and all the voice actors are currently in their shows. But I just don't think there's like you don't have a guy that's about to release a movie out like Jason Momoa.
And I mean, at the same time, I don't know that you see those guests outside of like San Diego anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
New York Comic-Con.
Jason was here last year.
Yeah, but he didn't have anything huge at the time.
Justice League had just come out.
And
Aquaman came out last.
Aquaman came out in December.
Year.
Well, and that pushed him to the level that he doesn't have to come to Planet Comicon anymore.
I guess that's true.
He's outgrown us.
Because prior to that, he was one season of Game of Thrones and Stargate, Atlantis.
And I've seen he was at Denver Comic-Con. We were out there one time.
Yeah, that was like 2 or 3 years ago, though.
Yeah.
That was definitely
But again,
pre-Justice
that
League.
was in between Game of Thrones and something smaller than anything from the DC.
I don't know. There's still a lot of cool stuff to come, and it's going to be... We still got a whole nother day of this, so...
Wow.
We will be back with more live recordings of us going off on weird philosophical tangents and offending at least half of our audience, if not
we don't
more,
even
if
know where
possible.
we're going, but we know it's going to be upsetting.
I mean, we're gonna make some people mad. And
we're not sorry. I'm not sorry.
If it's not upsetting, then it's not good radio.
Uh-oh.
I love it.
Right?
But once again, coming at you live from the Project Nerd booth at Planet Comicon 2019, it has been me and Bob and Laura and Drew. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Stars in the streaming color, the eyes